The following is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are NC.
The Royals held the Yankees to 3 runs and no home runs, but New York held the Royals to 1 run in a rare low-scoring game last night at Yankee Stadium. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to New York. I'm Ryan Lefevre with Royals Hall of Famer Frank White. And, Frank, we thought the key going into the game last night was to keep the Yankees in the ballpark. The Royals did that, but still lost the game.
Well, they did, Ryan, but I think if Ben Mazzaro can come out tonight and give the Royals an opportunity to stay close, and that's really been their success all year, is staying close late in games and coming back and win those games. I think manager Ned Yost will take that again. It was a double dose of bad news last night. The loss was preceded by the news that Bruce Chen is going on the disabled list with a shoulder strain, so finally, Vin Mazzaro makes his Royals debut. Well, Vin Mazzaro will be featuring Ryan the basic pitches, a sinker, slider, changeup, but the sinker being his best pitch, and he's going to be trying to keep the ball on the ground tonight and give his infield a chance to play. If you have forgotten, Vin Mazzaro came over from the A's in a trade during the offseason that sent David DeJesus to Oakland. And when the Royals left spring training, Vin Mazzaro was in the starting rotation. He was going to be the 5th starter, but got off to a slow start at AAA. Sean O'Sullivan took his spot. Meanwhile, Mazzaro has really picked up his game with an ERA of 3 over his last 3 starts for the Storm Chasers. Well, when we got into this series, we heard that Derek Jeter and Alex Rodriguez were struggling, yet they were right in the middle of the Yankees' win last night. Well, they're always going to be in the middle of something because they're just 2 great players, and Ben Mazzaro is going to have to deal with these guys tonight. But he's from this area, and I think that he won't be fazed by coming into Yankee Stadium, and that's what a pitcher has to be when they come in here, Ryan, very confident. Melky Cabrera got his homecoming out of the way last night in a big way and early, hitting a home run against Freddie Garcia in his first at-bat at Yankee Stadium in a Royals uniform. It was the Royals' only run last night. The first pitch is coming up next.
2-0 Yankees in the Bronx as Eric Hosmer set to step up, batting in the 3-hole for the first time in his major league career. Interesting talking to Ned Yost today, and Ryan alluded to the day off for Alex Gordon, but it wasn't just as simple as the 2 for 15 lifetime against A.J. Burnett. Ned says after every game he talks to his coaches, gets a little bit of a gauge on how his guys are doing because they know the players better than anybody. Kevin Seitzer on the hitters, Eddie Rodriguez on the infielders, Doug Sisson on the outfielders, and they said last night, okay, anybody need a day off, that's what he'll ask. And Kevin Seitzer said last night, might be time to give Alex Gordon a break here. Just give him a day off with the way things have been going lately. Then they looked at the numbers, saw the 2 for 15. As for Hosmer batting third, guys, he said, believe he's going to be a 3-4-5 hitter for a long time. Leave Frenchie where he's at. Give Hosmer a crack at 3. Just short term, guys.
All right, Jolie grounded out to first base his first time up and then was standing at the plate in the 3rd inning when Alcides Escobar was caught stealing to end the inning with mom and dad watching tonight. Hosmer, Butler, Francoeur coming up in the 4th. Royals do not have a base hit yet against Burnett. They have 3 runners with 2 walks and an error committed by Burnett. 3-1.
Well, a 3-1 count. You know, Hosmer's shown a lot of patience at the plate, and this has got to be his pitch. This has got to be a pitch he can try to drive. Anything other, he's just got to let it go.
Ed Rapuano says that was a swing, and it's 3-2.
And those are just learning things. Those are just things he's got to learn as a hitter at this level, and just center your pitch where you want it on 3-1, and anywhere else, just kind of spit on it.
Deep right field. You talk about spitting on it. Into the second deck. So a huge sigh of relief for mom and dad. They were dying with every pitch. And Eric Hosmer saves his first major league home run for the brightest lights and the biggest stage.
Well, he hit it a long way too. 3-2 pitch. And the best thing that happened to him after that home run is that the fans threw the ball back on the field, and he was able to get his first home run ball. So that helped. That helped also. But it was just great to see him after, make that effort on that 3-1 pitch, come back on 3-2, and make the adjustment and really sting the ball.
And now Billy into deep center field. Granderson back to the track, and he runs it down. And that's just the way it's going right now for Billy Butler. You can see the frustration all over his face and the excitement all over Eric Hosmer's face.
Ryan, this is just a great swing here. I mean, he gets all of this ball, and he knows right away. If you watch Burnett here, I mean, he just turns to home plate. He knows this ball's not coming back. I mean, this is just great bat speed right down through the ball, and there's a no doubter. He kissed that one really well. And look at mom, there she goes. She reminds you of the home run that Tommy hit in Minnesota off the flagpole. And Lando Hudson, but not quite as bad, but just as excited.
Very high to left field. And Brett Gardner retires Jeff Francoeur. He's 0 for 2. And Frank said there will be no negotiation to get Eric Hosmer's first home run ball back. That fan just threw it right back out into the field.
They just made it perfect, and Cano asked for the ball. He knew that was the first home run ball, and he didn't give the ball boy a chance to go give it away in the stands on the other side, so he threw it back into the Royals. Everything worked out perfectly on that home run.
Yeah, they talk about how tough Yankee fans are. That was a very thoughtful gesture.
Well, I think if I'm a fan and how much we dream about catching balls in the stands, I don't think I would have thrown mine back. That's something they'll regret down the road somewhere.
I'm sure that fan has found out by now that ball was worth a lot. That might have been worth an autographed bat from Eric Hosmer to retrieve the home run ball. Might have been worth some tickets to the game tomorrow.
Yeah, it's definitely worth 2 baseballs.
Right field, and Swisher all the way back and has room to make the catch. So a home run, 2 deep fly ball outs. And Eric Hosmer will never forget May the 11th, 2011. Extra innings are presented by Jack Link's Beef Jerky all season long. Jack Link's Beef Jerky, feed your wild side. And it has been a combination of a slow and exciting game at Yankee Stadium. Slow for many innings as both teams had base runners all over the place, couldn't get anybody home. And then in the 8th inning, the Royals tied the game with a 2-out base hit, took the lead with a 2-out base hit in the 10th, and the Yankees tie it with a 2-out base hit in the bottom of the 10th. Everybody waiting on Mark Teixeira, who had to go back to the dugout and get his glove fixed. So here in the 11th, Chris Getz, Alcides Escobar, and Gerard Dyson facing a rejuvenated Buddy Carlisle. He was hanging his head when he walked off the mound after the top of the 10th. Following the Royals taking the lead, Jeff Francoeur with 2 outs, doubling to drive in Eric Hosmer.
Well, Carlisle is one of those guys with Chris Getz leading off. He should just take a lot of pitches and make him throw strikes. I mean, I would take him all the way to 3-2 if I had to, but he'd have to show me that he could throw strikes.
There have been 17 walks in this game, and only 2 walks have turned into runs. If you want to get technical, you could say that the Royals run in the 10th inning That was a Melky Cabrera walk, and then Eric Hosmer reached on a fielder's choice, so that walk led to a run. But as far as hitters that reach with a walk, of the 17, 2 have come around to score. And of the remaining fans here tonight, they will shower Buddy Carlisle with boos right after the Yankees tie the game in the 10th. A 4-pitch walk to Chris Getz. So 18 walks tonight, Frank.
Who are those pitchers? Hey, that's unbelievable.
Another amazing stat. The Yankees have out-hit the Royals by 9. We're tied at 3. The Royals have 3 hits. 3 hits in 10 innings, but every single hit has produced a run.
Yeah, right here, I think Escobar may be bunting in this situation here, Ryan.
I would vote for a hit and run.
Well, a hit and run would be probably the best thing. And a lot of times you don't bunt the tie on the road like this, but you just got to make sure that Buddy Carlisle, he's not one of those guys that for sure are going to give you a ball down the middle of the plate that you can bunt. He's not around the plate. So, I mean, it's a hit and run. So he's not around the plate. So you're a little bit more skeptical of putting a hit and run on with a guy that's been that wild.
The main reason why I would say hit and run, and I agree with what you're saying, is, you know, it's getting late now. That would be something that would really give the Royals a boost. I mean, it's their job to keep their concentration, but we're talking about 4 hours and 10 minutes of baseball, and that could get the go-ahead run at third base, possibly, and then Gerard Dyson could get a runner home without having to get a base hit, and not swinging the bat well at the moment. All those throws over to first base apparently now had nothing to do with trying to see if Escobar was going to tip his hand. It was to buy time for the bullpen, as Joe Girardi figured a 4-pitch walk right after the Yankees tied the game in the 10th was not a good sign. So it'll be Luis Ayala coming on to face Alcides Escobar when we come back. Luis Ayala will come on. He is the 6th Yankee pitcher. Royals took the lead in the top of the 10th inning. Yankees tied it in the bottom of the 10th. And a very small portion of a crowd of over 40,000 remains, but that was still enough of a jolt to get Yankee fans out of their seats. Now they're sitting back down again after the 4-pitch walk. Here's, we think, Royals superfan Chris. Who is that man behind the curtain?
Well, the hair looks like Chris, but that's all you can see, really.
Wearing his powder blue. That is Chris, his powder blue number 31. Who would be nobody right now on the roster.
Chris has got protection.
Yeah. Hey, excuse me, sir. Sir, we don't allow visiting banners to be flashed in between innings.
I wonder how he's getting out of here tonight.
What are they? They check. Are they dilating his pupils? What are they doing? Ayala throws one pitch, and Alcides Escobar moves Chris Getz up to second base. And now the top of the order in Gerard Dyson, who is 0 for 4 with a walk, and that gets Dyson's average down to 150. Across the knees for strike one. Boy, if he wanted to drag a bunt here, Mark Teixeira is playing behind the bag on the right side and now takes a step back further. And with Dyson's speed, it wouldn't have to be a great bunt to the right side. Instead, swinging And it's off the glove of Nunez. No chance to get Dyson. So the go-ahead run is at third base with one out. Infield single for Dyson.
Well, he knew right away as soon as that ball came out of Nunez's glove that Dyson was going to be safe. You know, even if he gets it on the first grab, he was off and running on this play. And you talk about a guy in need of a hit. You know, when he smells it, he's going to get it. I think he made that easily. Now they got first and third.
Yankees are going to play for the ground ball and the double play. They will not bring the infield in. And they know all about Dyson's speed, and I'm sure the scouting report is that when Dyson decides to go, he doesn't wait around for a while.
Right, he goes within the first couple of pitches, and the thing now is if he goes, do they have a steal of home on, or are the Yankees going to throw through?
Here he goes, and Martin thinking along those lines, and Dyson is down to second without a throw. So that is number 9 for Dyson, and now the Yankees will intentionally walk Melky Cabrera. This will be walk number 19 tonight. So, man, if you love walks, if you come out to the ballpark because you love walks, you hit the jackpot tonight.
Well, we have to figure out how many total pitches have been thrown tonight, too. That would be an interesting number.
So they're loaded up with one out, and what a spot for Eric Hosmer. Already has his first major league home run. That was back in the 4th inning. And a chance to put the Royals in front again. Family still on the edge of their seats. Mom, dad, uncle, cousin, brother. Chris Getz at third. Gerard Dyson at second. Melky Cabrera at first. Still 0-2.
Well, Alec gave Eric a really nice pitch to hit right there, and he was all over it, but the ball sank just a little bit underneath his swing.
Very shallow center field. Granderson was deep. He makes the catch, gets to the plate, and the Royals have regained the lead. Eric Hosmer has driven in 2 tonight. Yankees will appeal down to third base.
Well, this pitch here is on the ground. I mean, this is just an excellent piece of hitting right here. He was able to get just enough of this ball to get it out in the right center field. Got Granderson going the opposite way that he wanted to throw, and that was just enough for Chris Getz to get in on his sac fly. So Eric Hosmer, really battled in this at bat.
To the bottom of the 11th inning, Royals by 1. They have scored in the 8th. They have scored in the 10th and now in the 11th. And Lewis Coleman with a chance for his first major league save if he can get past Alex Rodriguez, Eduardo Nunez, and Nick Swisher. Joakim Soria had a chance to pick up his 7th save in the 10th, but allowed a run to tie the game. Curtis Granderson with 2 outs singled in Russell Martin. Alex Rodriguez 1 for 4. That single was an infield single in the third. So he is 2 out of 9 in the series. He has struck out twice tonight. Drove in 2 runs last night. The Yankees getting their first look at Lewis Coleman. Strike 1 to Rodriguez. Lewis Coleman with that great advantage with his arm angle on a right-hand batter, and I figured there was some history behind that. And during the last homestand, he shared with me that through high school and actually through his freshman year at LSU, he was very much a traditional pitcher, right over the top. Rodriguez lines it to right field, but Francoeur is there for the out. A long time ago, Vin Mazzaro was on the mound for the Royals, making his Royals debut. He gave up 2 runs in 4 innings. The Yankees made him throw 94 pitches. So anyway, Lewis Coleman was just a regular, as he put it, boring, over the top type of a pitcher. And that went through his freshman year at LSU. He didn't have a good freshman year, so he experimented with arm angles. And in his sophomore year, he started to drop down with what is called a 3/4 arm angle, in between sidearm and over the top. He was hit hard then, so he went all the way down to submarine, to a point where every now and then he would scrape his knuckles on the mound, dirt. After his sophomore year, his coach was going to take his scholarship away, which meant he wasn't going to be able to go to LSU, and he was able to talk his coach into allowing him to remain with a partial scholarship. So he went back up a little bit higher than submarine and found the slot that he uses now. Got him through his junior season. He was drafted by the Nationals. His senior season, he won a national championship with LSU, beating Texas. Was drafted by the Royals. Up the right field line, and Francoeur will watch it drop in the seats. He pointed out something else to me that I hadn't noticed, and I asked him, did he ever have any arm trouble or any hip or back problems throwing across his body the way he does? And he says, you know, I don't really throw across my body. It's kind of an illusion. His back foot on the rubber is not up against the rubber parallel. It is angled slightly, so actually he strides forward. See how his back foot is actually pointed towards the third base dugout? He strikes out Nunez, and now Coleman is 1 out away from his first major league save. So there is not as much torque, at least on the lower body, for Lewis Coleman.
Well, you're right. He really had to open that front foot up to get those hips open, you know, so he doesn't throw against that front side. See how he swings that, watch his front foot and how he swings that open toward the target, and that opens the hip, and that avoids him throwing across the body right there. There have been some other guys that made those changes. If you watch his setup, you know, Dan Quisenberry had to make that change, and guys like Gene Garver and Kent Tekulve, all those guys went from up on top down below, and they had successful careers that way.
Now a strike to Nick Swisher. So when he's on the rubber, he's way over on the third base side, and that back foot. See, he's when he strides, he's straight.
So the back foot's angled out.
Yeah.
And then he just, yeah, I see what you're saying there.
So being a right-hand pitcher, the whole outside of his left foot is not up against the rubber. Just the front end of his foot is up against the rubber. So his lower body is lined up straight when he strides, but then of course comes across with the arm.
Well, it gives him a lot of deception too, because the hitters can't see all that. And I'm just really this first time he's come out where you're starting to see more of his breaking ball too, where normally he come out and throw fastball, but he's throwing some good sliders here tonight too.
1 strike away from his first major league save. 2-2. Three balls, two strikes, and Jorge Posada is on deck. Struck him out. So it is a night of first for the Royals. Eric Hosmer with his first major league home run, his first major league 2 RBI game, as he gets the game winner in the top of the 11th inning with a sacrifice fly. Vin Mazzaro makes his first Royals appearance, and Lewis Coleman with a 1-2-3 bottom of the 11th inning has his first major league save. And it only took 4 hours and 31 minutes.
We've been here a while.
And if you haven't had enough, we'll be right back.